Julie Davison from juliedavison.com. Welcome to Thursday Night Stamp Therapy. So happy that you are joining me today. I'm going to just adjust our camera a little bit so we can see more of the table. How are you? Are you guys ready to stamp with me tonight? I guess you're not stamping with me. In spirit, you're stamping with me. Although I do love to hear when you guys are actually stamping at home right along with me and maybe not stamping the exact same thing, but just in your stamp room plugging away. So I would love to know, what are you doing right now? Are you stamping? Are you watching TV? Are you hanging out? Are you how are you watching? Do you watch on your phone? Do you watch on your computer? Do you put it up on the TV? Tell me all about what you're doing right now. I would love to hear. Oh, I love that. Katie says she's watching with a glass of wine. That sounds so good. I'm still fighting this cough though, so I have to say I have laid off my occasional glass of wine. It just hasn't sounded good. Still drinking lots of tea. Tablet or TV, sitting on a pontoon boat. Well, that sounds amazing, Melanie. I would like to be on a pontoon boat. Oh no, my hair clip just broke. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can get it to work. Watching on the desktop, watching on the iPad, watching on your phone. Is anybody stamping tonight? Are you guys stamping with me? Fonda's watching from North Carolina, hanging out. Sharon is, oh, you're stamping with me. Oh, making cards. Yay, Cindy. I love that. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you guys are here with me. It was a productive day today, and I have projects that are pre-cut and ready to go. We're going to do a little bit of casing the catalog because you guys know I just love to do that. And I think it always makes the catalog like come to life when you see it, like I say in person, but I know you're like still on the computer, but or your phone or whatever, but I still think it makes a difference to see the card. The picture sometimes just seems so 2D, and I'm hoping tonight I can make it come to life for you, and encourage you also to copy and case the catalog. So I wanted to let you know about our designer paper sale. I've been talking about it all month, so I'm sure you know. 15% off almost all the designer paper in the new catalog. Some of them sold out after the free shipping day that we had yesterday. Did you guys get a chance to take advantage of that awesome sale? I love when they do free shipping. It is usually they don't give a lot of notice. It's just like pops up, and so it always happens that it's like the day after I place an order or something soon. Oh, I love that you did your stamping earlier today, Janice. And Lori, did everyone get COVID on the cruise? I actually didn't go to Norway. I stayed home, but I got COVID before the trip. I still don't really know how I got it because I stay home most of the day. But I got COVID before. I actually got COVID on Mother's Day. That's when I started feeling sick. Excuse me. And so it's been a good, 5 weeks now. And COVID was really short. There was some just kind of secondary bug that got me while I was down. Anyway, I'm mostly feeling better. Just this like lingering cough, this little tickle that won't let go. Yeah, Christine, always before payday. I know, right? So I hope you guys took advantage of free shipping. I hope you took advantage of getting some of your favorite papers at a discount. Some of them are temporarily unavailable because they sold out of the quantity that they had in the warehouse. So if you haven't yet, you can still get some. Tonight, I am featuring the fishing one. Let's go fishing. And we are not using the fishing bundle. I'm kind of excited about that. So let me show you this paper really quick. The one that we're going to use is called Let's Go Fishing. It's a 12 by 12 designer paper. And as the name suggests, there are fishing patterns, fishing poles and lures and fish and water and more fish and more hooks and lures. But on the other side, we've got some really great just masculine patterns with the plaid and the denim and the map and the buffalo check and the stripes and the net. So I feel like you could do so much with this paper. It is not just for fishing. So if you're looking for a good masculine paper, take a second look at this one. We're going to make 2 cards with this one, and then we're going to make a fun swinging monkey card. I am casing a swap card I received from Janet Sit Away, and it is so stinking cute. You're going to love it. But we're going to start with our Let's Go Fishing cards. while I've got my little flyers before I put it away, I have to remind you about the Starter Kit Plus special right now. If you join as a demonstrator, excuse me, you can get an extra $30 in your starter kit. That's really kind of awesome. So if you've been thinking about it, now is the time to join. I've got all those links in the video description so you can check it out. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments and I will do my best to answer as we go. Yeah, you're really going to love the Swinging Monkey card. I cannot wait to show it with you, share it with you. I made it with Stamp Club, and I think I got it all like figured out, and so it's gonna be so easy. Okay, but first, this amazing paper. The first card we're gonna case from the catalog is on page 82. I'm in the May 2023 to April 2024 annual catalog. And I shared this one on Father's Day, and I just thought it was so fun to have all these elements. And so we're going to copy this one, but I'm just changing up the colors a little bit. It already does use some of the designer paper from the Let's Go Fishing. And so I'm going to use those patterns plus one more. I'm using the He's All That stamp set, which is the same one that is here in the catalog, and it has coordinating dies. You may have this one from the last catalog. It had some coordinating designer paper. But I love these dies because they are not like specific to these images. They're just sort of labels that I think would be a great die set to go with almost anything, right? These don't have to be masculine dies. They can be labels that you can use with any kind of card. Great shape, great size. I've pre-cut some pieces with those dies for us, and let me show you those. I'm going to come back to this though, and we'll see how our card compares. I have got a mental image locked in, so we'll see. I changed my card base to the Knight of Navy because we have another card that's Pecan Pie, and I wanted to kind of mix it up. I used a brand new embossing folder, this one here. Actually, I don't remember the name of it. Let's take a look. It is in the back with the embossing folders. It's a new embossing folder, which is kind of fun. And I always like embossing folders and dies to just freshen up my collection using, and then you can just keep using the stamp sets you already have. Exposed brick. So it is a 6 by 6 1/4 inch 3D embossing folder, brand new one in this catalog, and just kind of fun. You can use it either way. You can use it like this. We can use it like this with the sunken, like the mortar around the brick, or the brick kind of sticking out. Either way, I think it looks really awesome. So we're going to use that. We're going to rough it up a little bit. I don't think it was torn on the side, but I'm going to take my scissors and just kind of add some distressing. So I'm just going to kind of run the scissors along the edge of the cardstock and like really just kind of rough it up. So you can see the clean edge and you can see the distressed edge. And I think it just adds kind of a nice texture. So I'm just going to take that open blade and my scissors. There used to be a tool, like a 7-sided distressing tool or something. Essentially, it had like a blade, and it had 7 edges or whatever. And it was the same kind of thing. You're just taking the blade against the cardstock. So you can rough it up as much as you want and create that distressed edge. And we made a big old mess. Let's get out our little vacuum. Mom got this for me, oh gosh, a couple years ago now. And I love it. It's perfect for dust like this. So I'm just going to turn it on and just run it over my whole desk. And it just picks up all of that lint. It's so cool. If you're looking for this, I actually got it on Amazon, and I don't know if this brand is still there, but you can get this little vacuum. Look for desk vacuum. I think it's designed also to use for like keyboards, you know, like computer keyboards, but it is so handy. And then it just has like a, well, that's where the batteries are. You can, did I just make a mess? Anyway, oh, there it is. All the stuff that it picks up. And so you can empty it out when you need to. Anyway, it's really handy. I love, love, love it, especially for fine little particles like that. Okay, so we've got our exposed brick. We're using Knight of Navy. This is going to go in the center here. So this is 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So I still have a little border here, which I think just helps to sort of like bring out that rough edge. And so we're going to add this to the card front, and I might need to trim a little bit off the bottom, so we'll just close our scissors back up. Be careful if you are using that little scissor trick that you don't cut yourself. We're all grown-ups though, so we'll be good. Yes, I was just seeing Katie's comment about using the vacuum for those dimensional release papers. That is it. I love how it picks those up because they just like, they get all staticky, right? Okay, like I said, I have pre-die cut some of these tag images. So I did this one in Very Vanilla. I did this one in designer paper, and this one too in designer paper, which is a change from the catalog sample. And then this die cuts banners, and so I used that with designer paper. And then I also did some adhesive sheets on the back of this one because these are so detailed. I wanted to use the adhesive sheets, there's the item number, so that I could easily attach them to my card, and the adhesive is kind of already built in. So I did this in the Pecan Pie cardstock, and I'm hoping they just will peel off. Here we go. And then you can use your scissors or take your pick tool with the pokey end and kind of get rid of all those extra little hanging chads that are sticky because we use the adhesive sheet. And so these are going to go, I am going to cheat and open the catalog. I told you I committed it to memory, and I kind of know what I'm doing, but I still like to have a guide for placement. Okay, so this is going to go one up here. Oh, I love these adhesive sheets. It just makes it so easy because I don't have to worry about the liquid glue, which I don't know about you guys. I know it's a favorite for some of you, but I just get so messy every time I use the liquid glue. And it just seems like it makes it worse. The only thing about these adhesive sheets is finding. There we go. Oh, that was beautiful. Did you see how that came off? Yes. Okay. So we've got our little die cut plaids, and this is going to go over here, and this is going to go over here, and this is going to go over here. Do you see the vision? It's coming together beautifully. These are also going to tuck underneath there. All right. We need to get rid of these little pieces. They're sticky, otherwise I'd get the vacuum out. Okay, so for stamping, I'm using Night of Navy and Pecan Pie, and I've mounted my stamps ahead of time. So on the main piece, we're going to stamp To the Man Who Does Everything. And this card is going to be for my husband, who has a birthday next week, because truly, he is a man who does everything. He holds everything together. He is the glue of our house, and I'm so thankful for all he does for us. So this is going to be Jim's birthday card. Every day with you is another adventure. Ugh, I love that. I stamped on the designer paper, but I chose a pattern that was really subtle, so you can still see the pattern of the designer paper, and it still kind of has that texture, but also it blends in really nicely, and it's not going to take away from the main image. So let's go ahead and let's add some a little bit of the snail adhesive seal to the back, and we're going to add our flags, and then this is going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. Jim's birthday is on Monday, and Tony, yours is Saturday. Happy early birthday. That's so exciting. June is a big birthday month for our family. We've got birthdays on the 12th, well, the 9th and the 12th and the 23rd and the 26th and the 29th. It is just one of those super, super busy birthday months. September's the other one. I don't know what is 9 months before June and 9 months before, well, September, I know would be like the holidays, the winter holidays. Okay, every day with you is an adventure, and I'm going to kind of put this on the side because I want that every day with you to kind of stick out. And then those went on with regular adhesive. This is going on with, angle that a little bit more. That one's going to go on with Stampin' Dimensionals. I don't love how these are not straight exactly. Oh, I love the layering on this card. It is so fun. Okay, on the inside, I don't know. I didn't plan anything for the inside. We definitely need an inside piece. I'll have to find a happy birthday later. This is the piece that I used to die cut this. I think maybe I'll just cut a little piece of that for the inside. And then I'll write a sappy little message, a sappy little message about how much I love him and how amazing he is. And then I'll have my little designer paper to kind of tie everything in. Let's bring that paper back up here. So this is just a little 1 by 4 inch strip to go across the inside piece, which is 4 1/4 by 4 inches by 5 1/4. And now he'll be able to read. But we need to do something a little more. Let's add some embellishments here. And for this one, I'm going to use some of the classic matte dots. This one is so good for masculine cards. It has white, vanilla, basic gray, and black. And so I think for this one, I'm going to do some vanilla dots. So they're going to be kind of subtle, but I think they're going to be just right. I kind of want to do I've used a lot here, but you know what? As long as we stick to an odd number, we're good, right? So I have 1 there and there, 1 there, and 2 there, and 1 here. So we've got 5, and they're kind of scattered throughout. And I think that's good. I like that. You know what? I sort of want to add like a bow, but bows on a masculine card seem strange, right? Like maybe just a little like boop, like a back and forth twine. Is that too much? Are we getting too busy? Oh, I think so. If anything, I would add just something like a knot. I don't know. I don't think it needs it. Oh, I think we're going to leave it just like it is. Okay, so there's our first card. And like I said, we cased it right from the catalog. I hope that this kind of makes it come to life a little bit. And you probably overlooked this one because it's not flashy. It doesn't have, you know, like a whole suite. So let's bring it in and compare here. So yeah, I think you need to go through the catalog and like do what I do. I've just sort of labeled them with sticky notes, like the pages I want to come back to look at. Sometimes I sketch them out, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just label them and I come back and I think, yes, I want to do this one or that one. Maybe I like this layout, but I don't have the penguins. Maybe I like this one, but I want to change up the colors. So here's my version of that card. And it is very similar. I didn't change a whole lot. I just changed some of the colors. And kind of made it my own. Oh, Carol says she likes mine better. I do too. I try not to say that too much, but you know, honestly, I know that the concept artists, when they are creating the cards for the catalog, they are working under very like specific things, you know, like for this page layout, all the cards have to utilize the same color scheme, and they are assigned to maybe incorporate some of the same paper. Like here's another one that has the fishing paper. And so they are trying to do their best with those constraints of the challenges. And so, I think it would be hard to create projects like that. So we have the freedom when we're copying, we have the freedom to change up the colors and to do something a little bit different, change up the paper, you know, switch things out. We don't have the same kind of constraints that they do. So I feel okay in saying that I like mine better because I know that I'm not operating under the same constraints, but it is their card that inspired me. And so that speaks volumes to the talent of our amazing artists. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are all loving this card. I do love the blue. I think that's it. I was just looking at it. Eclectic girls rule. You are brave to adhere before stamping the sentiment. I know. I think I stamped them all before I adhered anything down. This is not quite straight. Like I think I would move it over just a little bit, but it's close enough and it's straight. It's just not centered. I don't think Jim's gonna notice. Guys don't, right? Okay, there's our first card. Let's move on. We're gonna case the catalog again. I'm really excited about this card. I was gonna say, take a guess which one it is, but I think the pre-cut designer paper kind of gives it away. Let me move my stuff out of the way here so that we can bring in the next box. This stamp set right here, Scenic Wonders, I bought when the catalog first came out, and I haven't used it yet. And I have to tell you that I love just the simpleness of the cards, but it's this card right here that inspired me to want to buy the stamp set. I just think it's really beautiful with the landscapes, and I love kind of the look of it. And so I haven't inked it up yet. I guessed on the measurements, and we're going to case this card right here exactly as it is, same color, same paper and everything, and see how it comes to life. Oh, Sherry, I'm so sorry that you're having issues. Hopefully nobody else is having issues. No video. If you can see everything okay, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know that you can see. Hopefully it's just on Sherry's end, but every now and then I have a little Wi-Fi trouble, so I hope that's not the case tonight on our live video. Okay, so let's dig in to this card. So I did notice that they used the designer paper from the Let's Go Fishing, and it covers the entire card front, which I'm going to still do. So this is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And whenever I'm doing that, I want to make sure I've got it on a sturdy card base. So I'm using the thick white cardstock. And since it's going to cover the whole thing, it doesn't really matter what color it is. And I chose white so that I could still write on the inside. It looks like we are getting lots of okay comments. I'm so glad you guys can see me. So Sherry, I hope that you can get it figured out, whatever's going on. It seems like it's on your end. Maybe close the app and come back in. Oh, Robin Hubby just walked by and heard, oh, hi, Robin's husband. Oh, that's so cute. I love it. I'm all off track now. Okay, we're making a card. I guessed on the measurements. That's the thing about casing the catalog, is that sometimes you don't know what size. And the way that I eyeball it is like I'll cut a piece, sometimes I'll stamp on it, and then if it's too big, I'll cut it down. If it's not big enough, I'll cut a new one. So that's how I figure out the measurements. I kind of just eyeball it. It's also 20 years of experience, just sort of knowing as I'm looking at a card, just sort of knowing proportions and sizes. Katie, I totally agree. I wish that in the supply list they would include measurements. I think the problem is that it's just like the amount of work that it would take for them to measure each sample, and they're not necessarily like doing that when they make it. They just make the card and then submit it, and it gets approved, and then they photograph it, and all the stuff. And so I think they just don't take the time to measure every card that they make, because they make so many. There's literally hundreds of samples in the catalog. So definitely something though to submit in the sandbox or the suggestion box on the Demonstrator website. So if you agree that you would like to see them include some measurements, then please submit that idea to Stampin' Up, and maybe we'll see that in a future supply list. I'm going to give you the measurements though. I will also put them in the video description when I'm all done. So the white piece here is 4 inches by 2 1/4. And like I said, I haven't stamped this yet, so hopefully it will work out. The green piece is 1 7/8 inch by 1 7/8 inch. And the white piece is a little bit smaller than that. It's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch square. And then I have a little piece of the copper clay, which is new in color. And this is a 1/2 inch by, I don't know, 5 inches. We're going to end up cutting off the ends. So I didn't measure. I just trimmed a 1/2 inch off of something. Let me grab my scrap paper. I'm still using up my small grid paper. I just love these. I love the size of it. And I miss it so much. It was discontinued because it was made for the Stamparatus, which was discontinued. But it was just the perfect size, I think. So that's another thing for the product suggestion box. We want to bring back the small grid paper. All right, I'm using Mossy Meadow for our stamp image, and it is a little bit longer than the cardstock, but I think it'll be okay. Make sure we get it nice and inked. And you'll notice on the front, you'll notice that this image does have this sort of like washed out. So it's going to look, when we stamp it, it's going to look like it didn't stamp all the way, but that is just the way that it was designed. So don't freak out if that is happening. It's going to be okay. Oh, that is so pretty. I love that. Okay. Now this might be a little tricky. I should have done it. I should have put it down. Hindsight, right? You know, let's try that. Boop, 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 boop. Turn it over. And I'm going to just do like a little tiny bit of adhesive. And I want it to be like right in the center. Hopefully this will work out. This is going to be an experiment. It's kind of like that triple time stamping, if you've ever done that, where you put the layers onto each other and then you stamp and then you take them off and you layer it behind something else. So we'll see how this works. We're going to ink that up again and we're going to stamp this. And we do have like a little edge here, which I'm hoping will be covered up by the square. So let's find out. Is it close enough? I'm going to say it's close enough. I used a really little layer here. If you use a slightly bigger layer, like a full 1/4 inch bigger, then you would definitely cover up those kind of white marks on the side. The other thing we could do is we could flip it over and we can see how well are we in the center here. Is this going to work? And you know what? I think it does. So I'll just use this side. Okay. All right, this is going to go on with regular adhesive. And I'm going to center this. And even if it's not like exactly perfectly over the design, I think it will go well enough that it's going to be just fine. And so we'll put it right here. And I noticed that we have little birds in this sample. And so we're going to stamp the little birds. And I've got a lot of rubber around this image, so I want to make sure that I'm not pushing too hard. I want to make sure that I'm not rocking, just a gentle tap tap, and I'm practicing on my paper to make sure. Oh yeah. That is good. Now if I wanted to, I could do one more off to the side like that. Okay, look, this is coming together so beautifully. This is going to go over the designer paper, and the designer paper is going to go onto the card. So let's do that. Put these on. This designer paper has Wild Wheat, another new in color. So we've got Wild Wheat, we've got Copper Clay, and then I use the Boho Blue there. And I think I want to put this on with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's use some of our borders. And this is going to go right in the center, top center up here. I'm not sure how I feel about the designer paper, but since that was the inspiration, we're gonna go with it. All right, I think it's gonna come together though when we do our sentiments. So we're gonna do embossing on the copper clay, and so I'm bringing in my Embossing Additions toolkit, and this includes the it includes the powder pal tray, the embossing buddy, the tweezers, and the little brush. And so the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to use our embossing buddy on the cardstock, and this is to get rid of any of the oil in your fingers that may add sticky points for the embossing folder. And then we're going to stamp. We're using the Versamark ink pad, and this sentiment says, "So glad you're in this world with me." And I'm going to stamp it right in the middle. It's a little bit crooked. I don't love that. I'm going to try again on the other side. Boop, boop, boop. I'll try to stamp better this time. Is the problem that it's crooked on the black? Okay. Maybe that will be better. Well, I don't know that it's better, but we're going to go with it. We can always trim with the scissors to make it better. We're going to go over our powder pal tray here and sprinkle that embossing powder onto the stamped image. Tap, tap, tap. If you need to, you can use the little brush to brush away any extra powder that is where you don't want it to be. Chat, chat, make sure we can read all the words. And then we're going to set this aside. I'll dump it back in after I'm done. And let's go to our heat tool. You can use the tweezers to hang on to your piece while you're embossing. And you're going to just heat it until the powder melts and creates a raised image. With the white embossing powder, you kind of see it will get darker. It's a lot easier to tell with the metallic because it gets shiny. It goes from dull to shiny, but you can kind of see here that transition. It gets darker as it's melting. And so once it gets darker and it's melted, that's it. You don't have to keep heating it. You just want to make sure you get all the powder. That looks good. All right, let's take a look at this again. I'm so glad you're in this world with me, and it is a little bit long for this, and so I'm going to follow the inspiration piece, and I'm actually going to cut off I want to cut off part of the sentiment. So instead of saying, "So glad you're in this world with me," we're just going to say, "So glad you're in this world," because I think that still achieves the same idea, and it makes it a little bit shorter to fit on our card. Oh, I love this. I am kind of wishing I used a different blue. This blue seems kind of bright for the birds. Actually, you know what I wish I used? I wished I'd used some of the copper clay for the birds and just had that color come back in. I kind of want to stamp it again. Oh my God, would you guys kill me? Oh! Oh, don't kill me, don't hit me. A little twist at the end helps to tear that off. And then this, some gentle pressure. We're going to check this. We're going to clean the blue off our stamp. We're going to re-stamp the green. It's going to be better, I promise. Okay. We need first the green. I'm going to go right in the center. Then we're going to get out the copper clay. Oh, I already love it so much better. Yes. Okay, let's add this right back to the center. And come back over here. We have so much going on. We're going to need that dimensional back. That's right. It wouldn't be Thursday Night Stamp Therapy without a pull apart. You love it better though, right? It's not just me. Don't you like it better? This is going to go over the top, and now it all kind of like goes together. I love this. So let's add this. I'm debating on the dimensionals. I think since we already have dimensionals on underneath the white, I think we're just going to do regular adhesive on this one. And this is going to go right over the bottom. So glad you're in this world. Oh, isn't this stamp set just beautiful? I really, really love it. Let me show you the stamps again. Here it is, Scenic Wonders. So there are 3 stamps, this one, and this is all one stamp. And then the birds, and then 3 sentiments. So glad you're in this world. Live your biggest dream. I kind of want to stamp something on the inside. I think I'm going to stamp happy birthday. And then we're going to stamp some, we're going to stamp the trees at the bottom. Let's do that. The one thing about having a white card base is that if you mess up, you can't, well, I guess you could cover it up with another piece, but it's not so easy to just like turn it over. Okay, we're going to do have a beautiful birthday. Oh my gosh, that is so crooked. I just was talking about it too. Why didn't I check it? Why did I not try it out first? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because I was just talking about it. Oh, Julie, it's still not stamping straight. What is wrong with this stamp? Okay, I know. I hope you guys are laughing with me. You know what? Have a beautiful birthday. Maybe it's okay if it's crooked. It's not. I'm too much of a perfectionist. Okay. Here's what we do when we have a mistake that we want to fix. We just cover it up. We're just gonna get a new piece. We're just gonna cut a new piece, and then we're gonna layer white on white, and it's gonna be grand. It's gonna be so good. Okay. I think I practiced. I think I got it on there straight. Perfect. Perfect. Now I'm going to tell you a little secret, because when I stamped it, you probably looked and you thought, Julie, that's not straight. Sometimes the label gets on the stamp crooked. And so what I try to do is I try to make sure that the stamp, the rubber, is on there parallel to the bottom of the block. And then instead of looking at the sticker, which might be crooked, I can focus on the line of the block. And if you're stamping on grid paper, that helps too. But I'm not looking at the sticker, I'm looking at the block and trying to make sure that's parallel to the bottom of the paper. So make sure that your stamp is on the block straight. Don't worry about the sticker. Sometimes the sticker is just going to be crooked. Okay, let's stamp our trees at the bottom, kind of bring that imagery back in. Oh, this stamp set. I just love it so much. Oh, yeah. So we're just going to put that on the inside, and it's going to be fine. Nobody will know about our boo-boo, except all of you watching. But whoever gets this card will not necessarily know. I'm also seeing my paper went over just a little bit, so I'm going to just give that a trim. Okay, you guys won't tell anybody though, right? I planned it that way. Sure, let's go with that. I can't believe I was talking about how hard it was to stamp on a white card base, and then I screwed it up. Okay, oh my gosh, there's our finished card. Let's take a look. I'm trying to get all my stamps out of it. It literally is like exactly the same, except I changed the birds from blue to copper clay, but otherwise it's exactly the same. I did everything just like it was in the book. That's right. What happens in the stamp room stays in the stamp room. Okay, that was card number 2. We cased the catalog and we made 2 different cards using the Let's Go Fishing designer paper. Our next card isn't going to use designer paper, but it is a case. I cased a swapper. Oh, this card is so amazing. It's from Janet Sidaway, and she sent this in for the Great Big Card Swap. And I was obsessed with this swinging monkey, and so I just had to figure it out and make it. And so we're going to do my version of this card. And Janet, thank you so much for the inspiration. Before I do that really quick, let me, because we're switching away from this paper, I want to just show you two other swap cards, or two cards using this designer paper before we put it away. So here's one that I got from Melody Lampert for our team 1-for-1 swap, and she used that plaid paper, and then also she used the denim paper in the background. I just thought that was so awesome. I love that, again, the stamp set doesn't have to be just fishing. We made 2 different cards that had nothing to do with fishing, and then this one does have to do with fishing. There's a card I made in another video using the designer paper, and the fish came right from the designer paper, and I cut those out. So whether you love fishing or not, this is really cool paper that you can make some awesome cards with. The masculine patterns are just fantastic. Okay, switching gears to make monkeys. Let's get into this. Let's put away this paper. Let's break down this amazing card. I've got some pieces pre-cut. We are using the Little Monkey stamp set. And also we're bringing in some dies because we need to create a hole for the monkey to swing on. And so that is what we're going to do with the tailored tag dies, tailor-made tag dies, 155, 563. And I'm going to show you how I did that because it's a little bit tricky. And I couldn't figure out any other way to make a hole. So, Janet, if you're watching, you have to tell us, what you used to make your hole, because my little hole punch was much too big. We're using Pecan Pie for the card base, and then I have a piece of old olive cardstock that is a 2 3/4 inches by 4. That's going to be on the bottom, and then some white and early espresso. So the early espresso is 2 3/4 inches by 4 1/4, and the white is 2 1/2 by 4 inches. And this card is going to be a little bit different. Janet's card used, she cut the front off, and that's what this piece is. So this piece, the Pecan Pie, was from the front, and so it's open and you can kind of see through to the inside. And I decided not to do that fancy cutting and use a different color. So it's the same kind of measurements. It just opens up a little bit different. So I do have a white piece for the inside as well that we're going to do some stamping on. And then I have some scrap pieces that we're going to stamp the monkey and the branch. And so we're going to do that next. But like I said, the monkey is going to need a little hole where the Stampin' Dimensional will go. And it'll make sense when I show you the mechanics of it. But first, I wanted to show you how I made the hole. So the only thing that I owned that was close to being the right size hole was this circle die, and it has 4 circles on it, and I kind of wish that I could just cut the die and make just 1 circle, but that's not how that works. So I'm going to show you how I created the hole with my die cutting machine and some strategic placement of the cutting plates. Okay, so this is the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, but you can do this with the large one as well. And so what I did is I took my cardstock and I took my I really wish that I really wish I could see through the paper, but I can't. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I know that there are 3 holes in the first circle, and so that's where I'm going to concentrate on putting my cutting plate. Okay, so I only want to cut 1 circle, and the die will only cut when it has the even pressure of 2 plates. And so I want the plate to fall right where that circle is going to end. And so the only thing that will cut is where the 2 plates are. And then when the plate drops off, it will stop cutting because it will not have the right pressure to create a die cut. So oh my gosh, that just shot right through, but I think it worked. And there is our hole. Now it didn't go all the way through, but we can use scissors to finish cutting that. Okay, so that's how I got my hole. I used this die. If you have a smaller hole punch, that'll work. Maybe it's handheld, or maybe it's one of the little small circles. Then you could use that as well. The one that I had, the smallest one I had was a 1/2 inch, and it's too big. So this is more like 3/8 of an inch maybe. Okay, so that's how I did it with the dies. I'm going to put the dies aside. Let's get out the stamps. And I am using the Memento Black ink and Old Olive for the leaves. Okay, we're going to do all of our stamping first. So let me get out this piece as well. And so we're going to stamp first the monkey. And I want to show you this hole should go like right between the monkey's legs, kind of covering his tail. Okay, like that. And then we're going to stamp the branch. And I should have done some of this ahead of time, but I didn't, so I apologize. You're going to watch me color and cut out tonight. Okay, so this is the piece that we're cutting and coloring. And let me get out my my paper here. This is for the front of the card. So I'm going to do the words, and it says, just swinging by to say hi. And then I'm going to stamp a little bit of the branch on the side like this. While we're stamping, let's go ahead and stamp our leaves. Okay, so first we're going to do that Old Olive piece, and I'm going to stamp a collage of leaves. And I talk about this sometimes when I'm stamping like a collage, or you know, trying to fill a piece. I will stamp in a triangle kind of pattern. Stamp, 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 make a triangle. Then I've got 1, 2. The next one's going to go here. 1, 2. The next one's going to go here. You'll also notice that I'm rotating my stamp as I go, so I'm getting different angles, and it's not just the same stamp, you know, cookie cutter over. This one's skinny, and so I think it's going to fit in. I think it's going to fit inside some of the areas here. Again, I'm going to turn it, and if you wanted to be precise, you could, you know, work that into your triangle and stamp it. But I'm just going to kind of fill in some of these outside pieces. That's going to be good. It's going to be kind of covered up a lot anyway. Then for the inside piece, I'm just going to do some leaves at the bottom, and I am going to kind of alternate here between the 2 and just create a border across the bottom of the card. Okay. Perfect. We are ready for some coloring. Get our stamps out of the way. Bring our monkeys back in. Actually, I'm going to bring this back out and use it for my coloring. First, I want to make sure that I cut that circle. all the way out. There we go. Now I'm using the Pecan Pie Stampin' Blends. I've chosen the light one for the monkey. Oh man, there's like a little ink. Must be from me. Okay, I'm gonna just do some quick coloring. I'm not really adding like a lot of shading here. I'm just gonna color our monkey, the tail. Around the ears. Now the face and the ears, I'm going to use the crumb cake. Oh my gosh, my coloring is so sloppy. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't be rushing. I'm going to blend in some of that around the face. Kind of soften up that bit that leaked through. Okay, and then the dark one for the branch. Apparently I can't color and talk at the same time. Concentration. Now, these are really easy images to color. And then I'm going to use, I'm just going to use the dark. You could, if you wanted to, use the light and then add some shading, but I'm just going to kind of stick with the dark one and color in those leaves. Perfect. Do you guys have this little monkey stamp set? This has a coordinating punch, so you can get it as a bundle, but the punch only punches one of the monkeys, this one right here. It doesn't punch the other ones. And so we're gonna have to do a little fussy cutting around both the monkey and the branch. But again, I think it's a pretty simple image to cut out. So let's make quick work of it. I should start a poll. I'm just not seeing your comments come through. On YouTube, sometimes they just flash. I know. I wish they would make a die too, but sometimes it's kind of one or the other, right? You either get dies for all the images or you get the punch. So that's a good question too. Do you guys prefer punches or do you prefer dies? The advantage of the dies is that you can have dies for more than just one image. And that's harder to do with the punch because then you would need like multiple punches. But the punch, I think, is easier to use. I don't know, like I'm on the fence. Sometimes I say I like punches better, but they really could go both ways. And I see you guys are kind of mixed on that too. Some prefer punches, some prefer dies. I mean, it's really kind of nice to have the option and have both of them for different things, right? All right, so I'm fussy cutting around the monkey, but when I get to the tail part, I'm not gonna go really detailed around the legs. I kind of want to keep that to be a little more rounded. Because a lot of it is going to be covered up by the branch anyway. And I just want to make sure that it's nice, and so most of that inside is, we're just leaving that. And it's going to be against a white background, so I think it blends in pretty well. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It must be so boring to watch me cut. I apologize. I really should have had this done ahead of time. This afternoon, I was working on a lot of my swap cards for the Great Big Card Swap. For all of you who sent me doubles, I'm sending out cards to all of you. Okay, I've got my fussy cutting done. And so we're going to work on the mechanics of this card. And it's going to come together really, really nice. So let's bring in our pieces. For this one, we need some mini Stampin' Dimensionals. Got those out here. But let's start with the simple layering. So we're going to add, what happened to my adhesive? There it is. We're going to layer these two together. This is Early Espresso cardstock. And then for the front, we're going to add that green piece at the bottom. We're going to add this on the inside. This is going to go at an angle because that's what I want to do. You don't have to if you don't want to. We're going to start with this branch and we're going to put one on either end. And I'm using the mini ones, but I really don't want them to show. So I'm going to move that to the leaf. Okay, now I want to utilize, let's see here. Yeah, nope. This way. I want to utilize this larger section to hide the Stampin' Dimensional that's going under the monkey. So I'm sort of, I still have the backings on here. I'm just kind of holding this to place where I want that to go. So I want that to go right about there. And I'm going to take the monkey and I'm going to slide it so that circle is right underneath this this branch, and you can see that Stampin' Dimensional is going to fit really nice right there. You can move it over if you want to, wherever it's going to be, so that branch is going to cover it. I'm going to move the branch and hold the monkey there and add a Stampin' Dimensional right in the center of the circle. So this monkey is not going to attach to the card in any way. It's just going to hang around that Stampin' Dimensional. Okay, now we're going to take the dimensionals off of the branch and we're going to place it exactly how we had it, so that branch, that little branch, is kind of covering up the Stampin' Dimensional. Oh, you know what happened? This worked perfectly, but our Stampin' Dimensional here, it went off the edge, so it's fine. I just need to add a Stampin' Dimensional. And I'm just going to cut like a little bit off the end. And put that on the branch. You want to keep the Stampin' Dimensionals. You don't want anything to be too close to that circle one because you want the monkey to be able to go back and forth. So I'm keeping the Stampin' Dimensionals on the end of the branch. Okay, look, swing, 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 swing. Isn't that fun? I just love the motion on that swinging monkey. All right, this is going to go on the card, and you can use some Stampin' Dimensionals here if you'd like. And so I'm going to use the end of my, some of my ends. I have some more ends. I just cut some today from all my, all my sheets of Stampin' Dimensionals that I've used up. Always save it and cut those ends. I have a whole bag. I need to be better about using my edges. And I'm going to add this to the card kind of at an angle. I like that. So there is our swinging monkey card. So much easier than I thought it was going to be, although the tricky part is the hole. Finding the right size punch or die that is going to cut the hole. When I did it in Stamp Club, I was figuring it out last night, and someone just hand cut the hole. So you could do that too. You can just hand cut the hole by the monkey tail. And so it just needs to be big enough for the Stampin' Dimensional to go underneath it. So that's Little Monkey. So stinking cute. Thank you again so much to Janet Sidaway for her inspiration with this awesome card that she sent in for the Great Big Card Swap. I did make a few changes to kind of make it my own, but it was very, very, very much heavily inspired by her card. Here's some other cards using the Little Monkey. Here's one that coordinates with the punch. So the punch punches the face and the banana and the body. And then I got to open up this card from Wanda McIntyre. She sent it in for the Great Big Card Swap with a penny slider. So you can have them spin or slide. Penny spinner, come on, there you go. So fun. Oh my gosh, I love all the detail on her card and the way she colored the leaves in the background. Really cool on the green cardstock. So Little Monkey, I would love to know, are you a fan? Are you not? What do you think of this cute little stamp set? I had so much fun making cards with you tonight. Let me recap what we made in case you were joining late. We did our swinging monkey card. And then we made this one. What is this stamp set called again? Scenic Wonders. Oh, I love the way this one turned out. We copied right from the catalog. And then we also copied right from the catalog this one using the He's the Man. I would love to know which of the 3 cards is your favorite. I hope that you were inspired tonight and maybe that you will give one of these cards a try at home. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the projects that I shared, please give this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Tony just saw your question. Can you please go over the swap themes for the upcoming months? Yes. So the Great Big Card Swap, if you're not familiar, is the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday of every month. The way the swap works is you send a card in. I share them all in the video showcase, and then I mix them up and send them back. So everybody who sends a card gets one back. The theme in June, and the showcase will happen on Tuesday, June 27th. So if you haven't mailed your card yet for June, you would want to mail it tomorrow, and that's gonna be tight to make it in time. The theme for June is new catalog. So you want to use something from the annual catalog, something new, but if you don't have anything new from the annual catalog, then you can send in anything. Anything goes. So June is new catalog or anything goes. I'll be sharing cards again on Tuesday, June 27th, and the theme for July is birthday, because my birthday's in July. So you can send your cards in. There'll be 2 showcases in July on the 2nd and the 4th Tuesday of the month. I have not announced a theme for August yet. I try not to get too far ahead of myself just because I already get a lot of cards. And so if you guys sent in more than 2 months at a time, I might go crazy. Part of the June card swap with the new catalog, I added something special in June. If you send in 2 cards, if you send in a duplicate for me to keep, then I will send you back a card swap. So kind of a 1-for-1 card swap. You'll get one from the Great Big Card Swap and you'll get another one from me. So if you want to send in 2 of your new catalog card swap for June, you can do that, but make sure you get those cards in the mail tomorrow so that they make it in time, because the next video showcase will be on Tuesday, June 27th. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in tonight. I always enjoy our time together on Thursday nights, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. Make sure that you watch on Sunday. We have a special Sunday stamping episode. We're doing a stamp along. So I'm going to get on right now and add those measurements and create an event over on Facebook. But I did post all the measurements in the Sunday stamping video from this last week. So if you haven't, make sure to check that one out. Mom and I shared projects with the Delightfully Eclectic designer paper. And in the video description, you could find the stamp along measurements for this coming Sunday on June 25th. I hope that you'll be able to stamp with us. I will look forward to watching the premiere with you live at noon Central Time on Sunday, June 25th. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.